the Loch Ness Monster, Super Mario's Secret Death Mushroom, and do people eat Pokemon? All of this and more on Missing Number. Bigfoot is arguably the biggest GTA myth, but there's another equally famous creature that has been rumored to exist in the dark depths of GTA's world. In Grand Theft Auto Online's DLC, the Cayo Perico heist, you are tasked with infiltrating a fortified island to steal something. While you're out on the water during the heist finale, one of your contacts will suddenly and ominously utter this.
Captain, I do not want to worry, but there is something out there. Long-range scanners are picking up something big. On the surface, from movement patterns, I would say it is... Never mind, it is an old friend of mine.
You're not alone. There's something out there, and if you scan the waters, you'll spot this. The Loch Ness Monster. In real life, the legendary beast, also known as Nessie, was rumored to inhabit the waters of the Scottish Highlands. Some believed it was a plesiosaur dinosaur that survived extinction. In GTA Online, the creature will quickly dive into the water and disappear if you get too close to it. However, there was a glitch that prevented the creature from vanishing, which allowed players to get up close to the beast. It doesn't move, nor does it do anything. It's just a static object. Interestingly, it may have been cut content from Red Dead Redemption 2. According to a YouTuber named Strangeman, RDR2's game files contain mysterious roaring and growling audio named AC River Monster 01. In GTA, Nessie's textures also happen to be named River Monster. Nessie can also be seen on a cigarette card in RDR2, and the beast looks just like the one in GTA. Do people eat Pokemon? It's a disturbing question, considering how Pokemon are like man's best friend, but it's something that the franchise has been ambiguous about. I mean, just what exactly is the sausage curry made out of in Pokemon Sword and Shield? Is it from a pig, or a pig Pokemon? One thing that we do know is that the Pokemon games and anime, particularly the early anime, have collectively referenced or shown non-Pokemon food and animals, like fish, berries, birds, honey, and rice balls. So we know that real-world animals and food exist in the Pokemon world, and that people eat them. But do people specifically eat Pokemon? The answer is yes. In many Pokemon games, like Gold and Silver, XY, Sun and Moon, and Sword and Shield, Slowpoke tails are an edible delicacy. They're used in curries and stews, served in restaurants like Restaurant Leia, and are sold as quiche and salads in megamarts. According to the Pokédex, Slowpoke tails have a spicy flavor, and a sweet sap leaks from its tail's tip. Although not nutritious, the tail is pleasant to chew on. And in the anime, episode 49, Ash's Pokédex states,
Farfetch'd, a wild duck Pokemon. Farfetch'd makes a delicious meal, especially when cooked with leek. Because of this, Farfetch'd is nearly extinct.
People also consume Pokemon byproducts, like Chansey's eggs. In Pokemon Emerald, the Pokédex states that the eggs are so delicious, they are eagerly devoured by even those people who have lost their appetite. In Sword and Shield, there's a boiled egg curry, which is presumably from a Chansey. But if that's the case, it begs the question, are you devouring a baby Chansey? And then here's this horrifying image from episode 18 of the anime. A Magikarp sliced up and served as sashimi. In the games, other Pokemon are described or intimated as being edible, like Cherubi, Basculin, and the apple pie-looking Appleton, in which the Pokédex states that its skin on its back is especially yummy. Children used to have it as a snack. While it's established that people eat Pokemon, Game Freak's producer and Sword and Shield's director previously told news sites that they actually have no idea what kind of meat people are eating in the Pokemon world. However, the producer did say that the Pokemon world is technologically advanced, so it's possible that people are eating something that we can't think of. Interestingly, according to the Pokemon anime chief writer, Takashi Shudo, normal animals were originally supposed to be extinct. So the non-Pokemon animals that are seen in the anime, like fish and birds, were created against Shudo's wishes and are not considered canon in his eyes. So that would mean that all the meat that Ash was chowing down on in the original anime should have been a Pokemon. Any guesses which Pokemon? There is something hiding in Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. You can't see it in the game, but it's there, and it's incredibly dangerous to remove. In fact, the entirety of Super Mario Galaxy completely relies on the existence of this one thing. So what is this thing? A mushroom. But this is not a normal mushroom power-up that's typically found in Mario games. This mushroom, known as Kinoko, has no in-game model, but its model data can be found buried in the game's code. Kinoko's file is loaded on boot, but it's never used, and should Kinoko's file be removed, Super Mario Galaxy will crash and be unplayable. The same goes for Super Mario Galaxy 2, since Kinoko's files also made its way to the sequel. What's more, Kinoko is even in Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch, but according to some modders, Kinoko was neutralized in the game. That means that 3D All-Stars works just fine without Kinoko's file being present. However, this is odd since other unused models were ostensibly removed from All-Stars. So why not completely remove Kinoko if it's also unused and not necessary? According to the cutting room floor, which cites an Iwata Asks interview, a mushroom instead of Mario was used to test out player movement in a prototype of Super Mario Galaxy. The mushroom was presumably Kinoko, which led to other mushrooms in the game being based on Kinoko as well. It's pretty crazy how just one item can be so detrimental, but apparently a lot of other games have a hidden death item as well. A game developer named Chris Wingard shared on Twitter, "When I worked at EA, I was told the NASCAR team had to leave a field goal post onto the world because it broke the game if it was removed because of old Madden code in the game." It's E3 2008, and Bethesda Game Studios game director, Todd Howard, is on stage at Microsoft's press conference. He's about to give a live gameplay demonstration of Fallout 3, which had a lot to prove, since not only was the game going to be the first Fallout to be a first-person shooter, but up until now, the Fallout franchise was dormant. Here was the big reveal.
We're ecstatic to show publicly for the first time here today, Fallout 3 demoed live. Let's take a look. I'm good.
One of Howard's worst nightmares came true. The Xbox wireless controller couldn't connect to the Xbox. Presumably, the thousands of people in the stadium that were using wireless devices, like laptops and smartphones, caused interference with the Xbox controller's wireless signal. Fortunately though, the issue was quickly resolved, and the demo went smoothly afterwards.
I'm good. So here's Fallout 3. You can play in first person or third person. You can also play the game combat-wise, like I'm going to.
However, little did we know that the entire time, the controller really was disconnected, and that Howard wasn't playing the game. In a podcast with Microsoft and Bethesda employees, Howard revealed that when the controller disconnected, a contingency plan was activated in which someone shouted "Broken Arrow" into an earpiece. Broken Arrow! The feed then switched to Bethesda's Senior VP of Global Marketing, Pete Hines, playing the game backstage without the audience knowing. So the entire time, Howard had to pretend he was playing the game, while also carefully narrating out loud what he was going to do in the game, so that Hines could follow along backstage.
Controllers, and I get up there, the press conference is starting, you can watch it back, and MF for the controller, you get the little bloop, can't connect, the little 360.
Yeah.
And man, I just was like, oh, please no. And I remember saying, like, I got it.
I'm good.
And they yelled, "Broken Arrow," and they switched to Pete playing, which we had not actually practiced.
Oh! There's a turret up here that's giving me trouble. But I'm going to switch to my laser rifle. See if I can take it out.
For that demo,
And by
I'm
the
not
way, in all of the rehearsals, I'm practicing, and what I have to do is basically keep up exactly with where Todd is.
You have to
So
shadow
if they
him.
switch
Yeah.
over, it's not like he's a
It's
half
seamless.
a mile away, right? And the entire time I'm rehearsing, I'm thinking, this is the dumbest thing ever. They are never going to need this. Todd knows what he's doing. It's not going to crash. And I have Blake standing behind me yelling broken arrow. And I went, I'm now playing this. Boy, I better not hose this. He was trying to sort of guide me where I was, because if he wanted to look at something, I had to be listening and go, oh, he wants me to look at this, or So I was trying to anticipate what he was going to say.
Now I'm
Yeah.
going to show you the Pip Boy. There it is.
And I wonder how long it'll take to come up.
On my wrist is the Pip-Boy 3000.
In The Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone, you can find a blind professor trapped inside an ominous runic circle that was drawn by an evil entity named Gaunter Odim. If the professor steps outside of the circle, he dies. When your character Geralt meets the professor, this happens. It's unknown if his death was just a freak accident or the result of him stepping outside of the circle, but once the cutscene ends, you have the option of blowing out the candles on the floor. Should you do this, this will happen. The spooky voice is presumably a demonic entity that was watching over the professor. It was bound to the circle by Odim, and once the candles were blown out, the demonic entity was released from its contract. Apparently, demonic entities can't be killed, only driven away. I was trepidatious about covering this game, since not only is it uncomfortably weird, dark, and creepy, but the story behind it is disturbing. The game is Sad Satan. At the time, you may have seen alarming statements like, "Warning, FBI will arrest you if you play this game. It contains illegal graphic imagery and is reported to have viruses/malware." If you're unfamiliar with this game, the short version is that in June 2015, a horror gaming YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner uploaded a gameplay video of Sad Satan. In this horror game, you walk through creepy corridors as random unsettling images popped up on the screen. Additionally, eerie audio recordings could also be heard throughout the game. The owner of Obscure Horror Corner, Jamie, claimed to have found Sad Satan on the deep web. However, people were skeptical since the game's download link that Jamie provided was not only dead, but the URL itself seemed suspicious. Jamie then admitted that he intentionally provided the wrong link and was uncomfortable sharing the real one since it contained gore pictures and child porn or CP. Soon after, a random 4chan user posted a link to what they claimed was the true version of Sad Satan, which actually contained CP, images of decapitated bodies, and viruses/malware. Eventually, people speculated that Jamie was behind this to try to back up his original story and to get more YouTube subscribers. There was also another theory that Sad Satan was created by a man named Gary Graves, who was arrested and pleaded guilty for possession of CP in 2017. Perhaps too coincidentally, someone named Gary Graves can be seen in this video on a YouTube channel called Scare Bear. The two graves happen to look alike, and the channel also had a now deleted video called Sad Sad Satan, which seemed to show a homicidal masked man. Based on this information and the contents of Sad Satan, people believe that the game is about child ABUSE or CA. A lot of the pictures that appear on the screen show people that are accused of CA, like Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris, and Tsutomu Miyazaki. The game also has children in it, and they'll scream when you get near them.
I am now if you
And then there's the game's audio, which you can hear things like a number station, a Charles Manson interview, and a reverse lyric of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven that says, Sad Satan. Additionally, a rendition of Alabama Song by The Doors can be heard, starting with the verse, Show me the way to the next little girl. Sad Satan is considered one of the most dangerous games of all time.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.